Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm late, but it's because I was upstairs doing some stuff, so yeah. And guess what? One of the YouTubers I watch, they do diesel drag racing, but 8th Mile diesel drag racing. And they're real close to the diesel world record, let's just say. Which, diesels, they're pretty friggin' insane. Like, when I mean insane, they are. Because it's like the overall diesel world record right now is a 4.1 in the 8th mile. Which, if you think that through, that's pro mod territory right there. Well, in regards to pro mod, let me, this was a while back. Wait, like, the 8th mile? The 8th mile record right now would be 8th mile record right now is technically, if you wait, let me think. Katie O'Neill. No, it wasn't Katie O'Neill. Wait, it was. It was Katie O'Neill. Okay. Katie O'Neill. Katie O'Neill. Katie O'Neill did it. It was Katie O'Neill, which was a 3.2 fourth mile, which is insane. Because the car was hydrogen peroxide powered. Let me tell you that. Nobody's been able to beat it ever since Katie O'Neill did it. Nobody's been able to beat it. So yeah. Heck, thing is, my brother, he's planning on getting a Infiniti G35. Let me tell you, he's gonna start a YouTube channel, and on top of that Infiniti G35, my brother's going to look at it on September 26th, 2020. And thing is, it's really doesn't have that much wrong with it. It just doesn't go too well on long drives. Which, I mean, to go to where they're picking it, going to look at it, it's like a 2-hour drive. So they're going to see about fixing it there, then negotiate a price, then they're probably going to pick it up sometime else, then he'll have that car, and then he'll have to sell his Acura TL. That's 2004, and so it's well worth the car. So yeah, it's gonna be a beast. We're going to remove the speedometer limiter. That's for sure. That speedometer limiter has to go. Yeah. Wait, let me email one of my teachers because he doesn't have one of the parts uploaded for our assignment for school. So yeah. Period. Mm, just had to email one of my teachers because um, for one of the classes, the assignment's not on there. What we have to do, and so guys, from now on, I'm going to from now on, whenever my brother buys that car, I'll put his YouTube channel, his new YouTube channel, in the description. No, in in let me think, in my featured channels list. So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna see. Yeah, let's see if my teacher replies, which he should, because the teachers are at school, even on like Fridays. That's when the students are not at school, but they're still at school on Fridays too. Just gotta wait for my teacher to post the second part of our study guide. Dang. And so, yeah. So, let's do some research. Let me think. Just gotta wait for my teacher to post it. Man, I have so many freaking classes. The one class that I need to catch up on is my Spanish class. So, yeah. Doing this thing virtually, guess what? We have to sign in by at least 1:20 p.m. Oh, heck, I'll give you. I will. Golly. Nope. I'll tell you. Heck, it feels so weird doing it from home. I mean, it's awesome doing it from home. It's just weird. You get what I'm saying, guys? Well, dang, nobody's on. Mother trucker. I see why now. I have a feeling why. I'm not dumb. I think I know why. I know what I'll probably do. Make sure I come down when I have this live stream scheduled. So yeah. Man, got this planned out. The Lexus, no, the Infiniti G35 is going to be a beast. It's going to be a beast. Infiniti G35. And the reason why I'm going to sit down with my brother one day and talk about it, what he plans on doing for his car. Heck, but then when I do my homework, y'all are gonna hear it because, first of all, there's nothing I can do about it. Let me start on my homework. First time doing, well, the site my Spanish teacher uses, it's first time me using it in her class because I haven't been added to her class until yesterday, until I found out the website that she uses sometimes. Ooh. Honey. Let's see if I get this correct. Let's see if I get this correct. Okay, guys, and there's so much stuff I plan on buying for YouTube and me personally. And all. So yeah. For YouTube. So yeah. Hey. Wait, let's make sure I got everything done for my Spanish class. Today I'm going a little bit out of order, but just for one reason only. Because of, let's see if my criminal justice teacher has posted it. Then, since I'm no Spanish, next class I have to go to is automotive, which automotive's easy. Well, not really. It's not even easy. It's tricky somewhat because the stuff you have to do. Let's see if my teacher has added it into there. If he hasn't, that's gonna suck. If I'm not mistaken, I think he said he was supposed to put it in today. The PowerPoint part 2. So yeah. Let's just say I think he may have screwed up. Not to be mean to it. First of all, Nope, he hasn't. Dadgummit, Mr. Overy. Not to put his name out there, but I did. You know, heck, automotive's fun because I've gotten my second certificate for automotive. Because I have, let me see how many more assignments for automotive. I have a few more to go. Yeah. It's really not even that tricky. Because I only have like 6 more to go for automotive. But then I'm gonna have the sound on.
Most likely are the SP2 coordinator or safety health manager at your facility. As someone responsible for overseeing safety and environmental compliance at your facility, and for ensuring that all employees receive adequate safety and environmental training each year, you have the important responsibility of keeping the shop in compliance with OSHA and EPA requirements. The SP2 coordinator should complete all 3 courses: safety, pollution prevention, and the supervisor's course, prior to assigning courses to other employees. That way, you will be ready to explain any compliance issues before employees take their training. The coordinator should be the facility's expert, able to anticipate and answer questions employees may have about their jobs and their specific work areas. In addition, the coordinator should know where to find answers. The goals of the overall SP2 program, including the safety and pollution prevention courses, are to prevent or reduce safety and environmental fines, prevent pollution and reduce the waste stream coming from the shop, and prevent injuries and illness while increasing workplace safety. This supervisor's course complements the SP2 courses by addressing record keeping, management, and legal issues. After completing all 3 SP2 courses, you will be awarded a printable SP2 Supervisor Certificate. You should be confident about workplace safety and help set the example for your coworkers.
Yeah, that's true.
After completing this course, you will be able to understand responsibilities for safety and environmental compliance in a facility, recognize the importance and necessity of safety and environmental training, understand the HAZCOM standard and requirements, define documentation requirements and create appropriate plans, learn about required evacuation and fire prevention plans, identify your EPA waste generator category and corresponding responsibilities, and know how to handle an inspection at your facility.
This is pretty easy.
This course contains the following modules: conducting self-audits and inspections, the Hazard Communication Standard and Safety Data Sheets, or SDS, injury and illness records, fire safety and prevention, the environment, PPE and respirator programs, and handling an inspection. After reading all of the modules, you will take a final exam that will test your knowledge of what you have learned in that course. For the final exam, you should read all modules before taking the final exam. You must correctly answer at least 80% of the questions to pass, and you will have 5 attempts to pass the course. Keep in mind, at the end of most modules, you will find links to relevant OSHA checklists. Modify these as you wish to fit your facility.
Have you 80% on the final exam? Oh, that'll be easy. Because all these other exams we've done or you have to get all 100% correct. In which, first one, it took me like 2 or 3 times. Then, no, I think like more than 3, like 4 or 5 times. The first exam. Then second exam, nailed it on the third try because I had my automotive teacher help me.
Since its inception, the U.S. government has seen millions of accidents in all kinds of industries. In December 1970, President Richard Nixon signed into law the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. This established the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, a national public health agency dedicated to workplace safety for employers and employees. OSHA's safety and health standards were established over many years, and they are continually evolving. The scientific research and findings from OSHA have prevented countless work-related injuries, illnesses, and deaths.
So, automotive's fun because you learn a lot of stuff.
OSHA has very specific guidelines for different industries, including the automotive industry. Laws cover most private sector employers and workers in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and other U.S. jurisdictions, either directly or through an OSHA-approved state plan. State OSHA plans, which are developed and operated by individual states, often have even more rules than OSHA. They must be at least as effective as the federal OSHA program. Automotive repair and maintenance businesses fall under OSHA's general industry standards. In your industry, the most frequently cited federal OSHA standards and violations are listed below.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I had a feeling some of these would be listed. Some of them I did not know about until started automotive. Most of the stuff I did not know, and most of the stuff I did not use. Because at our house, we don't care really that much
OSHA,
about
the
safety.
EPA, and state
If you
agencies
get
have
what
the
I'm-
authority to
if
make
you-
sure that companies work to ensure the safety and health of their employees. These organizations also oversee the handling and disposal of hazardous waste and chemicals to ensure they do not harm people, animals, or the environment. If a business or organization fails to comply with OSHA and EPA regulations, these agencies can levy large fines and even place violators in jail. OSHA penalties may range up to $7,000 for each serious violation and up to $70,000 for each willful or repeated violation. Any owners, general managers, and supervisors on site must know and enforce the rules. All employees throughout the organization who are responsible for proper documentation, plans, and file maintenance must know how to process this information accurately and in a timely manner. Technicians are responsible for safety and environmental compliance in the work area. In other words, every employee is considered responsible and may be criminally liable if they knowingly allow or participate in safety or environmental violations. Keep in mind, some states have their own occupational safety and health program in place of the federal OSHA program. To find out which agency is responsible for administering workplace safety and health in your state, contact your nearest OSHA area office. According to OSHA, there are 4 basic elements to all good safety and health programs, regardless of the size of your business. Number 1, management commitment and employee involvement. The manager or management team leads the way by setting policy, assigning and supporting responsibility, setting an example, and involving employees. Number 2, work site analysis.
Yeah.
The work site is continually analyzed to identify all existing and potential hazards.
Yep.
Number 3, hazard prevention and control.
Yep.
Methods to prevent or control existing or potential hazards are put in place and maintained.
Yep.
And number 4, training for employees, supervisors, and managers.
Yep.
Managers, supervisors, and employees are trained to understand and deal with worksite hazards.
Yep.
Developing and maintaining a workplace safety and health program is a key step in protecting the safety and health of workers. It may also improve efficiency by reducing insurance claims and other costs.
Yeah.
Having a
That's for sure.
safety and health program does not guarantee compliance with OSHA standards,
Yeah.
but following the plan can help you reach compliance and prevent illness and injury.
Yep.
It also gives you a way to express and document your good faith and commitment to protecting worker health and safety. The key to the success of a safety and health plan is to see it as a normal part of your business operation and to see it reflected in day to day operations. Safety and health awareness should become second nature to you and your employees.
Yes.
When a serious accident or injury happens, it is too late to plan and train. In the workplace, prevention is key to avoiding accidents. The OSHA Job Safety and Health It's the Law poster, available free from OSHA, informs workers of their rights under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. All covered employers are required to display the poster in their workplace. Employers must display the poster in a conspicuous place where workers can see it. Click here for information about the poster, including how to obtain the poster in other languages. If you are in a state with an OSHA approved state plan, click here to find out if there is a poster available. Did you know employers do not need to replace previous versions of the poster? As we have discussed in the other SP2 courses, safety is not always common sense. People need to be trained on the hazards of the workplace. OSHA requires it. As an owner or manager, you must ensure that all employees know about the materials and equipment they work with, the known hazards, and how to control these hazards. OSHA wants each employee to know that no employee is expected to undertake a job until he or she has received instructions on how to do it properly and is authorized to perform that job. No employee should undertake a job that appears unsafe. Bottom line, OSHA requires that employees be trained on every potential hazard they could be exposed to and how to protect themselves. Other training tips. Pay particular attention to new employees and to employees who are moving to jobs with new duties and potential hazards. Because they are learning new operations and potentially practicing old unsafe habits learned elsewhere, they may be more likely to get hurt. Managers and supervisors should be trained to understand all the hazards faced by employees and how to reinforce training with quick reminders and refreshers, or with disciplinary action if necessary.
Yeah.
Make sure that everyone knows and understands their safety and health responsibilities and how to hold employees accountable. Click here for some checklists from OSHA that may apply at this stage of the course. Safety and Health Program Checklist and Training Checklist. It is the employer's responsibility to know what items or processes will help make sure workers are safe. This involves continually analyzing the worksite to identify existing and potential hazards. However, much of the workplace audit can be done using your own resources with minimal outside help. As SP2 coordinator, you can establish an effective system to check your hazard controls and evaluate any new hazards, as well as keep current on new hazards in your industry. Importantly, make sure your employees feel comfortable communicating with you or another member of management when they see things that look dangerous or out of compliance. Keep in mind, it is important to use outside resources when necessary. Your state's OSHA program is one option available. After analyzing the workplace, you should establish and maintain procedures to prevent or control existing or potential hazards. Sometimes this means substituting a less toxic material or using engineering controls. When hazards cannot be eliminated, they need to be controlled. Set up safe work procedures based on your workplace audit. and ensure that employees understand and follow them. Be ready to enforce the rules for safe work procedures. Ask employees to help you establish a disciplinary system that will be fair and understood by everyone. Safety and health inspections are the best way to identify hazards because the only way to be certain of an actual situation is to review it periodically. Self-inspection is essential to identify where probable hazards exist and whether they are being controlled. Because every business is different, each checklist category may not apply to your situation. You might want to start by selecting the areas that are most critical to your business, then expanding the checklists over time to fully cover all areas that pertain to your business. Remember, a checklist should be used for guidance, not as a definitive statement of what is mandatory. Self-inspection should assess safety and health issues in the following areas. Review the topics that need to be addressed under each category that applies. Building and grounds conditions. Floors, walls, ceilings, exits, stairs, walkways, ramps, platforms, driveways, and aisles. Chemicals. Storage, handling, transportation, spills, disposals, amounts used, labeling, toxicity or other harmful effects, warning signs, supervision, training, protective clothing and equipment, hazard communication requirements. Electricity. Equipment, switches, breakers, fuses, switch boxes, junctions, special fixtures, circuits, insulation, extensions, tools, motors, grounding, National Electric Code compliance. Evacuation plan. Establish and practice procedures for an emergency evacuation, for example, fire, chemical or biological incidents, bomb threat, including escape procedures and routes, critical plant operations, employee accounting following an evacuation, rescue and medical duties, and ways to report emergencies. Fire prevention. Extinguishers, alarms, sprinklers, smoking rules, exits, personnel assigned, separation of flammable materials in dangerous operations, explosion-proof fixtures in hazardous locations, waste disposal, and training.
In regards to explosion-proof fixtures, my dad has installed some of those because he's an electrician. So yeah, he knows what that's like.
First aid program and supplies. Locations of medical care facilities, posted emergency phone numbers, accessible first aid kits. Hand and power tools, purchasing standards, inspection, storage, repair, types, maintenance, grounding, use and handling. Heating and ventilation, type, effectiveness, temperature, humidity, controls, natural and artificial ventilation and exhausting. Housekeeping, waste disposal, tools, objects, materials, leakage and spillage, cleaning methods, schedules, work areas, remote areas, and storage areas. Lighting, type, intensity, controls, conditions, diffusion, location, glare, and shadow control. Machinery, points of operation, flywheels, gears, shafts, pulleys, keyways, belts, couplings, sprockets, chains, frames, controls, lighting for tools and equipment, brakes, exhausting, feeding, oiling, adjusting, maintenance, lockout, tagout, grounding, workspace, location, and purchasing standards.
Heck, it's gonna be expensive. My Rustler is once I'm done with it. There's a few other things I plan on buying.
Maintenance. Provide
Which
regular
lights,
and
light
preventative
bars,
maintenance on
and
all
all.
equipment used at the work site, recording all work performed on the machinery, and training personnel on the proper care and servicing of equipment. Personnel. Training, including hazard identification training, experience, methods of checking machines
And heck,
before
I may
use,
even
type of
don't know
clothing,
what else I'll do,
PPE,
but I'm probably
use
gonna
of
have more
machine
stuff.
guards, tool storage, work
And like a
practices,
winch and all,
methods for
probably
cleaning, oiling, or adjusting machinery.
to have some fun.
PPE. Type, size,
I have like
maintenance, repair,
winches,
age,
chains,
storage,
and
assignment
a
of
lot of other stuff.
responsibility,
I don't know
purchasing
what else.
methods, standards observed, training in care and use, rules of use, and method of assignment. Processing, receiving, shipping, and storage. Equipment, job planning, layout, heights, floor loads, projection of materials, material handling and storage methods, and training for material handling equipment. Transportation. Motor vehicle safety, seatbelts, vehicle maintenance, safe driver programs.
I think it's the switch. No. Nope. I think it's not that one. It's a different one. And possibly get a tow hitch installed somehow. Then
Add
and build a
information from
custom
your completed
trailer.
checklists to injury information, employee information, and process and equipment information to build a foundation to help determine
to
what
hold my
problems
Hillian
exist.
dominoes
Then,
and
as you use
the
the OSHA
neon,
standards in your
like the
problem-solving
neon
process,
drift
it
car.
will be easier for
Or
you to
all-wheel
determine
drive
the
car,
actions needed to
if I'm not
solve these
mistaken.
problems. Always
So,
refer
yeah,
to federal
that's
or your
all
state's OSHA standards
that I can
for
think of
specific guidance
for it.
that may apply in your specific situation. Keep in mind, if only one individual in a shop is taking the supervisor's course, it's a good idea to ask a second employee who has completed the rest of the SB2 courses to help inspect using the appropriate checklist in order to provide better coverage.
Yeah. Then that, then
Here are some links to OSHA checklists that may apply at this stage of the course.
holy cow. I've dealt with all that. That's for sure.
OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS, is the law that regulates access to information about chemicals used in workplaces across the United States. The rule requires all suppliers to provide standardized health and safety information for the chemicals they produce. OSHA requires employers to make this information available to employees for every chemical they encounter on the job in order to prevent illness and injury. In addition, employers must train their employees on how to find this information. According to the government, employees have a right to know the risks associated with the materials with which they work.
Wait, was it RC400? Don't get the chain from? I think it was, but I could be wrong. Gonna get a winch, light bars, which light bars I'll get from somewhere, I don't know where.
Going a step further, OSHA revised its Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS, to align with the United Nations Globally Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling of Chemicals, or GHS, and published it in the Federal Register in March 2012. Two significant changes contained in the revised standard, aka HAZCOM 2012, require the use of new labeling elements and a standardized format for safety data sheets, or SDS, formerly known as Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS. OSHA has phased in specific requirements, ranging from mandatory training, became effective December 2013, to full compliance by June 2016. The SDS documents are similar to the earlier MSDS documents in that they still provide information about ingredients and potential health risks. The globally harmonized system helps ensure consistent labeling and access to information for companies and workers around the world. The Hazard Communication Standard in 1983 gave the workers the right to know, but the globally harmonized system gives workers the right to understand.
Man, sooner or later I'm gonna make a full video on everything I plan on buying for the Rustler. But it's gonna be expensive, let me tell you.
Employers with hazardous
It's probably
chemicals
gonna
in the
be
workplace
close to
must develop
1,000
and
or more, I
implement a
don't
written
know.
hazard communication plan
Well,
and train employees
it's
on the
gonna be like
hazards they are
500
exposed to,
something
as well as the proper safety
without
precautions.
no
As the
like
most frequently
light
cited standard
bars,
for automotive facility
winches,
violations, the Hazard
bumpers,
Communication Standard is not
or
something to ignore or
chains,
take
or
lightly.
the custom
The
trailer I
law
plan on
requires
building.
employers to prepare and post a list of all hazardous and toxic substances used in the workplace. Obtain and provide employees access to safety data sheets for the specific substances. Label containers of hazardous chemicals properly, and train employees on how to obtain and understand information about safe handling of hazardous substances in the
Some
workplace.
bummers, I was supposed to start it
The
at
list should
6:10
include
on
the
live stream, but
characteristics
I
of the
forgot about
materials,
it.
as well
So,
as
yeah,
how to treat
I'll
and
probably
handle
bump
the
the time
material
up a little
in both
further
its original and
to
waste
like
forms.
6:20ish.
Typically, the
That's when my
information
dad
obtained
usually
from the
leaves
SDS
anyway,
is provided by manufacturers or vendors of the products,
if you know
but
what I
it is your
mean.
responsibility to make sure they are up to date and easily available to your employees. During an OSHA or EPA inspection, one of the first things an inspector looks for is a written hazard communication plan. The HCS requires that employers maintain a list of every hazardous chemical used or kept in the workplace. The chemical information list should then be kept as part of the hazard communication plan. The plan does not have to be lengthy or complicated. This document is simply intended to be a blueprint for implementation of your program, an assurance that all aspects of the requirements have been addressed. Keep a copy of your organization's written plan in the SDS binder or readily available in case of an inspection. Make sure that you keep your plan updated, communicate and provide the plan to all staff. Make sure any deviation from the plan is corrected immediately, and Keep one copy of your written hazard communication plan on site and keep a backup copy off site. Keep in mind, each shop needs its own individual plan, and there should be only one plan per shop.
Oh.
The HAZCOM standard dovetails with the hazardous chemical storage reporting requirements in the EPA's Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, or EPCRA, to help ensure greater worker and community safety. Under this rule, if a facility stores extremely hazardous substances in quantities above threshold planning quantities, then that facility must report the chemical storage information to state and local emergency planning commissions by filing specific EPCRA forms. Most automotive facilities do not qualify as EPCRA reportable facilities. However, low lead and acid thresholds make keeping scrap battery storage to a minimum a good idea. Visit the EPA's website for more on the EPCRA. Right to know rules also apply in the event of spills or chemical releases according to the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act, or CER-CLA. If a listed chemical is spilled in an amount above the reportable quantity, or RQ, then right to know reporting would be required. You will learn more about the EPA in Module 6.
Yeah.
Employers must have or develop an employee training program that informs employees of the requirements of the law and explains the employer's hazard communication methods and the employee's rights. The program also must include information about the nature of the hazards, appropriate work practices, control programs, protective measures, and emergency procedures. Specific legal requirements are detailed in 29 CFR 1910.1200H.
The second year
Initial
of criminal
training must be
justice,
given
first
to new
year of
employees
flight
prior to their
maintenance.
first assignment, before they go into the workplace. If you have any current employees who have not yet received their OSHA-mandated safety training, it's important you provide training as soon as possible. Whenever new hazards are introduced into the workplace, exposure to hazardous chemicals changes, or additional information about hazardous substances in the workplace becomes available, you must provide additional training immediately. Employers are also expected to retrain all employees annually. When creating a retraining schedule, some shops choose to retrain all employees at the same time, and others use employee anniversary dates to distribute training throughout the year. SB2 allows you to train your entire staff annually and provides electronic documentation and proof of training compliance for your records. Here are some OSHA checklists that may be helpful at this stage of the course: containers and secondary containment, hazardous chemical exposure, hazardous substances communication, and safety data sheets, or SDS. An Emergency Action Plan, or EAP, is a written document required by OSHA standards. The purpose of an EAP is to facilitate and organize employer and employee actions during workplace emergencies. A well developed emergency plan and consistent employee training can result in fewer and less severe employee injuries and less structural damage to the facility during emergencies. On the other hand, a poorly prepared plan or no plan can lead to a disorganized evacuation or emergency response, resulting in confusion, injury, and property damage. Putting together an emergency action plan does not have to be difficult. It involves taking what was learned from your workplace audit and incorporating how employees will respond to different types of emergencies, taking into account your specific facility layout, structural features, and emergency systems.
Yeah. Eek.
At a minimum,
I
the
love
plan must
automotive.
include, but is not limited to, the following elements: means of reporting fires and other emergencies, evacuation procedures and emergency escape route assignments, procedures to be followed by employees who remain to operate critical operations before they evacuate, procedures to account for all employees after an emergency evacuation has been completed, rescue and medical duties for those employees who are to perform them, and names and job titles of persons who can be contacted for further information or explanation of duties under
So
the plan.
whenever my mom wakes up, I'll end the stream, but until then, I'm gonna just leave it going.
Include a diverse group of representatives, management, and employees in the planning process, and meet frequently to review progress and assign development tasks. The commitment and support of all employees is critical to the plan's success in the event of an emergency, so ask for their help in establishing and implementing your emergency action plan. Although not specifically required by OSHA, here are some other elements to consider as part of your EAP. A description of the alarm system to be used to notify employees to evacuate and or to take other actions. The alarms used for different actions should be distinctive and might include horn blasts, sirens, or even public address systems. The site of an alternative communication center to be used in the event of a fire or explosion. A secure on or off-site location to store originals or duplicate copies of accounting records, legal documents, employee emergency contact lists, and other essential records. Did you know, if your workplace has 10 or fewer employees, the EAP does not need to be in writing, but SP2 recommends it. It can be communicated orally. Fire prevention plans are also an OSHA-required element of workplace safety. At a minimum, your fire prevention plan must include a list of all major fire hazards, proper handling and storage procedures for hazardous materials, potential ignition sources and their control, and the type of fire protection equipment necessary to control each major hazard. Procedures to control accumulations of flammable and combustible waste materials. Procedures for regular maintenance of safeguards installed on heat-producing equipment to prevent the accidental ignition of combustible materials. The name or job title of employees responsible for maintaining equipment to prevent or control sources of ignition or fires. And the name or job title of employees responsible for the control of fuel source hazards. An employer must inform employees upon initial assignment to a job of the fire hazards to which they are exposed. An employer also must review with each employee those parts of the fire prevention plan necessary for self-protection. Did you know? A fire prevention plan must be in writing, be kept in the workplace, and be made available to employees for review. However, an employer with 10 or fewer employees may communicate the plan orally to employees.
Hey guys, you know how I told you about the chain trailer and winches, winch bumpers, and winch plates? Well, I'm going to do that to the Rustler. And you know what? I'll have to show you sometime the vehicles I plan on making makeshift recovery videos for RC content. So yeah, one is an all-wheel drive car. Second is a two-wheel drive truck. So yeah, hopefully y'all understand my plan. Because it'll be some fun RC content. Because I plan on sticking towards RC and challenges and a lot of other things. I really don't know what all I'll do, but I'll do some things. I don't know what, but I'll plan as I go, or y'all can help me plan as I go. So yeah.
When fire extinguishers are available for employee use, it is the employer's responsibility to educate employees on the principles and practices of using a fire extinguisher and the hazards associated with fighting small or developing fires. This education must be provided annually and when a new employee is first hired. Employees who have been designated to use fire extinguishers as part of the EAP must be trained on how to use the fire extinguishers appropriately in the workplace. This training is a specialized form of education that focuses on developing or improving skills, and it must be provided annually and when employees are first assigned these duties. For more information on fire extinguisher use, visit OSHA's Evacuation Plans and Procedure e-tool.
How long is this new model? Goddamn.
Here are some links to additional OSHA checklists that may apply at this stage of the course. Existing or egress, evacuation. Exit doors, fire protection or fire prevention. Flammable and combustible materials, and signs and signage.
So now I only have, after I'm done with this assignment, I only have biology, English, and art and geometry. How long is this?
Under the OSHA record-keeping regulation, employers covered by OSHA are required to prepare and maintain records of serious occupational injuries and illnesses using the OSHA 300 log, the form for recording injury and illness records. This information is important for employers, workers, and OSHA in evaluating the safety of a workplace, understanding industry hazards, and establishing protections and procedures to reduce and eliminate hazards. All employers covered by the OSH Act must orally report to OSHA the death of any employee from a work-related incident or the inpatient hospitalization of 3 or more employees as a result of a work-related incident within 8 hours. In September 2014, OSHA made changes to the record-keeping regulation. As of January 2015, employers, including those in the automotive repair industry, who are required to report must report all work-related inpatient hospitalizations, amputations, and losses of an eye within 24 hours to OSHA.
Whoa. Dang, I did not know that until just now.
More specifically, covered employers must record all work-related fatalities, all work-related injuries and illnesses that result in days away from work, restricted work or transfer to another job, loss of consciousness, or medical treatment beyond first aid. Significant work-related injuries or illness diagnoses by a physician or other licensed healthcare professional, even if it does not result in death, days away from work, restricted work or job transfer, medical treatment beyond first aid, or loss of consciousness. Injuries can include cuts, fractures, or sprains. Illnesses include both acute and chronic illnesses, such as a skin disease, such as contact dermatitis, respiratory disorder, such as occupational asthma or pneumoconiosis, or poisoning, such as lead poisoning or solvent intoxication. OSHA's definition of work-related injuries, illnesses, and fatalities are those in which an event or exposure in the work environment either caused or contributed to the condition. In addition, if an event or exposure in the work environment significantly aggravated a pre-existing injury or illness, this is also considered work-related. For more information about the record-keeping regulation, visit the OSHA website.
Imagine having a turbo that's 5 point. Imagine having a turbo that the turbo inlet, the turbine inlet, is 5.7 inches big. Then the turbo outlet will probably be half that size or maybe bigger. Don't know. No, it would be bigger. So that means it would probably be over 150 plus millimeter out. It would be a 145 millimeter inducer, which that's where the air goes through. No, it's the inducer is where the air goes to and into the engine. The exducer is where the back side of the turbo, the hot side. Hot side's the back side. Cold side's the front side. So yeah. So that would be insane having that big of a turbo. Say 145 millimeter turbo.
Your OSHA record keeping system can be made simple with 5 steps. Number 1, obtain.
But then the biggest turbo ever made, Precision unveiled it. Precision Turbo unveiled it at 2018 SEMA show, and it's supposed to come out sometime this year, but I doubt it because of Corona freaking virus. So yeah, the turbo is supposed to be 143 millimeter, and it's supposed to be able to handle 5,000 horsepower. So which would be good for the motor that I plan on getting if I get into drag racing real seriously. When I mean real seriously, it's gonna be a big ass turbo, where literally if you dare mess with it, I mean, heck, the motor alone is going to be expensive. Then turbo, transmission. It's going to be a 5-speed manual car or 6-speed manual car with 5,000 horsepower to the motor, 5,000 plus horsepower to the motor. Then, so if you do it through a manual transmission, that means about, say if you make 5,200 and over, say you make over 5,200 horsepower, 5,200 and say 52, making over 5,250 horsepower. To the motor, then that means if you make over that amount, say you make 53, say if you make 5,300 horsepower to the motor, that means to the tire you could make 5,135 horsepower to the tire.
Need a report on every job-related injury or illness requiring medical treatment other than basic first aid. Number 2, record each job-related injury or illness on OSHA Form 300, Log of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses, using the instructions provided on the form. Number 3, prepare a supplementary record of occupational injuries and illnesses for recordable cases on OSHA Form 301, Injury and Illness Incident Report. Number 4, every year, prepare an annual summary using OSHA Form 300A, Summary of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses. Post it no later than February 1st, and keep it posted until May 1st. A good place to post it is next to the OSHA Workplace poster. Number 5, retain these records for at least 5 years. Periodically review these records to look for any patterns or repeat situations. Keep in mind, basic OSHA record-keeping requirements address only injuries and illnesses, but you should consider expanding your own records to include all incidents, including those where no injury or illness resulted. This information may be helpful in pinpointing unsafe conditions and/or procedures.
Dang, the first ever live stream I've done after taking like a year off of YouTube was was almost 22 minutes long. But this one, it's already over an hour long. And I started later than I was thinking.
Current and former employees or their representatives have the right to access injury and illness records. Employers must give the requester a copy of the relevant records by the end of the next business day. Here are the record-keeping forms.
Man, how long is this whole thing? Damn. Oh, it's a
The
long
vehicle
one
maintenance
after
and
all.
repair industry involves managing and recycling a wide variety of materials and waste products. When improperly managed, some of these could be toxic to people, plants, and the environment. Most automotive wastes contain heavy metals and other toxins and must be carefully handled to avoid polluting the environment. Fortunately, most automotive wastes also have streamlined waste management rules that encourage recycling. Shops in the conditionally exempt small quantity generators category are not required to apply for a federal hazardous waste generator identification number. However, these shops may need an ID number to properly dispose of hazardous waste. Contact an EPA regional office or your state environmental office to find the specific guidelines for your area. Many waste hauling companies will help you register. If your shop is a small or large quantity generator, you are required to have a hazardous waste generator ID number to be in compliance with the EPA. This number identifies your shop as a significant generator of hazardous waste. You must use this number anytime your organization ships waste off-site. You can get your hazardous waste generator ID number by contacting an EPA regional office or your state environmental offices. An EPA ID is obtained by using the Notification of Regulated Waste Activity Form, or EPA Form 8712.
Hey guys, so I can get monetized. Will y'all please get me up to 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours? And guess what, guys? What I plan on doing is something crazy. First of all, I have Need for Speed Heat, but not the regular Need for Speed Heat. It's the deluxe edition. So I have the starter car I chose was a 1996 Nissan 180SX Type X Evolution, and I'm going to fully max the stock motor out, fully max out everything, but then do not do motor swap, and then that could get me $395. Then I would do the 2017 Chevy Corvette Grand Sport KS Edition build, fully max it out on all motor, then max out everything else on it. Then 2018 BMW i8 KS Edition, max that one out. Then max out the 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X KS Edition, max that completely out. Then max out the 2018 Mercedes AMG C63 Coupe KS Edition, fully max out all five of those builds with stock motors and max it all out as high as possible. Then to put the highest horsepower motor in all the builds, and then have high horsepower builds. The 180SX can make over 1,000 fully maxed out with the highest horsepower motor. Then the Chevy Corvette can make over 1,100 horsepower maxed out. No, I don't know about the Corvette. The BMW i8 can make like 1,100. Then the 180SX could make like 1,000. Then the Corvette and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X, I don't know how much those can make, and I don't know how much the Mercedes AMG C63 Coupe can make. So yeah, guys. Wait, guys, I gotta go do something. And then I'll be right back. Ugh.
In an EPA inspection, one of the first things an inspector looks for is documentation of lawful waste management. Be sure to maintain accurate waste management records, including these documents. Monthly hazardous waste inventory log. Document the amount of waste generated in a calendar month and the amount of hazardous waste stored on site during that month. Uniform hazardous waste manifest. Keep manifests on file in backwards chronological order for the past 3 years. Also, label waste storage containers with a clear identification of the contents. Put dates in your calendar to review and check OSHA and EPA paperwork. Coordinate calendar reminders among 2 or more key staff members in case of promotions, absences, or departures from the company. For EPA compliance assistance, visit the EPA's website regarding automotive service and repair. Here you'll find information for certain sectors of the United States, guides, initiatives, and fact sheets, information on laws and regulations that may apply to your specific operation, pollution prevention and expertise, guides for small businesses, and more. The Environmental Controls Checklist may apply at this stage of the course. In the SP2 Safety and Pollution Prevention courses, you learned all about personal protective equipment, commonly referred to as PPE. PPE is equipment worn to minimize exposure to serious workplace injuries and illnesses. These injuries and illnesses may result from contact with chemical, radiological, physical, electrical, mechanical, or other workplace hazards. Personal protective equipment may include items such as gloves, safety glasses, footwear, earplugs, hard hats, respirators, coveralls, vests, and full body suits. When engineering, work practice, and administrative controls are not feasible or do not provide sufficient protection, employers must provide personal protective equipment to their workers and ensure its proper use. A PPE program should be implemented to address the hazards present, the selection, maintenance, and use of PPE, employee training, and monitoring of the program to ensure its ongoing effectiveness. Employers are required to train each worker required to use PPE to know when it is necessary, what kind is necessary, how to properly put it on, adjust, wear it, and take it off, the limitations of the equipment, and proper care, maintenance, useful life, and disposal of the equipment. OSHA requires all personal protective equipment, with a few exceptions, to be provided at no cost to the employee by the employer. The few exceptions include ordinary safety code footwear, ordinary prescription safety eyewear, logging boots, and ordinary clothing and weather-related gear. For further information, visit the PPE Safety and Health Topics page on the OSHA website. When respirators are necessary, employers are responsible for establishing an effective respirator program in accordance with OSHA, and employees are responsible for complying with the program. Respirators protect workers against insufficient oxygen environments, harmful dusts, fogs, smokes, mists, gases, vapors, and sprays. These hazards may cause cancer, lung impairment, diseases, or death. The need for respirators is typically determined by the type of work processes, SDS recommendations, vendor assistance, and/or workplace monitoring of airborne contaminants. Respirators protect the user in two basic ways. The first is by the removal of contaminants from the air. Respirators of this type include particulate respirators, which filter out airborne particles, and air purifying respirators, with cartridges or canisters that filter out chemicals and gases. Other respirators protect by supplying clean air from another source. Respirators that fall into this category include airline respirators, which use compressed air from a remote source, and self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA, which include their own air supply. You must develop a written respiratory protection program that includes procedures for the use of respirators in any work area where they are required. The procedures in your program must be specific to your particular workplace. All required elements of the respiratory protection program must be in writing. You are required to include procedures for the following elements, as applicable in your respiratory protection program: selecting appropriate respirators for use in the workplace, training employees in the proper use of respirators, including putting them on and taking them off, the limitations on their use, and their maintenance, providing medical evaluation of employees who must use respirators, fit testing, tight fitting respirators, using respirators properly in routine situations as well as in reasonably foreseeable emergencies, ensuring adequate air supply, quantity, and flow of breathing air for atmosphere supplying respirators, establishing and adhering to schedules for cleaning, disinfecting, storing, inspecting, repairing, removing from service or discarding, and otherwise maintaining respirators, and regularly evaluating the effectiveness of the program. Here are some links to additional OSHA checklists that may help you at this stage of the course.
Oh my gosh. Whew. At least I'm almost done.
In
Just
your
the first
industry,
part.
it is possible that you may get a visit from OSHA or the EPA. If you experience an OSHA or EPA inspection, first and foremost, be calm and polite. The inspector is not the enemy. His or her job is to conduct audits and check compliance. Verify whether the inspector is working for a federal or state agency, and always ask for identification. You can call the agency's office to verify the inspector's identity. Normally, OSHA conducts inspections without advance notice. Employers have the right to require compliance officers to obtain an inspection warrant before entering the worksite. You might also choose to consult with legal counsel at this time. However, refusing entry or consulting with counsel typically does not stop the inspection or audit. In almost all cases, the inspection ultimately will take place. Your best protection is keeping your facility compliant at all times. Ask why the inspector is there, ask how you can help, and keep it simple.
In regards to the ID part, you can even do that to cops. Ask for their name and badge number. Even though their name is on their uniform, you can still do that, and you have the right to legally record them. The reason why I brought that up is because they brought up the thing about ID.
During an inspection, provide all requested information to the best of your ability. Experts, however, say it is best not to volunteer more information than is requested. If you have concerns about your facility's compliance, you may want to consider contacting legal counsel. During the walkthrough, compliance officers may point out some apparent violations that can be corrected immediately. Although the law requires that these hazards must be cited and potentially penalized, prompt correction is a sign of good faith on the part of the employer. Compliance officers are required to keep confidential any trade secrets they observe. Did you know? It may be helpful to record the inspection process and have someone take notes. Usually, the first thing an inspector wants to see is your records and paperwork. Many violations result from inaccurate or incomplete documentation. Inspectors typically want to see plain language 3165 OSHA poster from Module 1, written hazard communication plan Module 3, SDS inventory including chemical information list Module 3, safety training documentation Module 3, fire prevention plan and emergency action plan Module 4, OSHA 300, 300A, and 301 forms Module 5, hazardous waste manifests and monthly hazardous waste inventory logs EPA Module 6, and respirator evaluation forms Module 7. At the end of the walkthrough, the inspector will hold a conference to advise you of conditions observed in the facility, obtain further information, give information about any possible citing that may be issued, your right to appeal, and time limits, and answer questions. OSHA must issue a citation and proposed penalty within 6 months of the violation's occurrence. Citations describe OSHA requirements that were allegedly violated, list any proposed penalties, and give a deadline for correcting the alleged hazards. Violations are categorized as other than serious, serious, willful, repeated, and failure to abate. When OSHA issues a citation, it also offers the employer an opportunity. The agency and the employer may work out a settlement agreement to resolve the matter and to eliminate the hazard. Alternatively, after receipt of citations and proposed penalties, employers have 15 working days to formally contest the alleged violations and/or penalties by sending a written notice to the area director. Did you know OSHA has a free consultation service where employers can request an inspection without the threat of citations or fines? provided the employer agrees to correct any violations cited. Here are some links to additional OSHA checklists that may help you at this stage of the course. As the SB2 coordinator or safety health manager in your facility, you are responsible for helping provide a workplace free from serious recognized hazards and complying with standards, rules, and regulations issued under the OSH Act. You are also charged with making sure that the people you supervise know what is expected of them when it comes to safety and pollution prevention. Simply put, the government requires plans, documentation, and training. Take action and have proof in writing. Although safety and environmental compliance are your responsibility, you shouldn't have to go it alone. Engage all of the employees at your workplace through training and instilling an overall safety culture. Enlist others in the process to help ensure a compliant workplace.
Yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. 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 Hmm. 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 Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hmm. 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 Oh. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna get 100 on this before you know it. It'll take me a few tries. Hmm. 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 Still doing my automotive homework for school, which is awesome. Hmm. 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 Oh. Hmm. 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 This is pretty tricky, but pretty easy when you memorize all the answers. Which sometimes I'm good at, sometimes I'm not good at. And this stream's about to go on for a full 2 hours. Holy mackerel. Even though I started late, too. Starting late, but still making a good amount of live stream, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, still doing my automotive work, which is pretty tricky depending on what I'm doing. Holy mackerel. A nitrous demon. Oh my gosh. Got some plans for YouTube. Hmm. Uh, no, not that one. No. I think it's that one. I'm gonna email my automotive teacher. Hmm. Man, automotive class kicking my buttocks. Oh my god. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. I think this is going to be a good long live stream. Ooh. Gee. If I were to get a turbo, I would get Precision's 143 millimeter turbo if I were to go drag car. Because it can handle 5,000 horsepower, so it would be perfect size turbo. You get what I'm saying, guys? So yeah. Let me see. Let's see. Who. Wait, wow, why didn't my idiot self think that through? Because I'm totally being a dumb idiot. I'm being an idiot right now. To get to what I need to get to. Mother fudger. Hopefully my automotive teacher could help me. No, I'll have to add it into here, boy. Hmm. Man, oh man. Heck, nope. I'm gonna soon end the stream to see what the stats are. So, guys, hopefully y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I upload. Bye.